Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Not Bland Show, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland, and we are brought to you by Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It has been one heck of a season in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza land and in the NHRA. And man, if you're not signed up yet, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get you to sign up if you haven't done so? It's super easy. And we're going to go over a lot of the cool stuff that's going to be going on as we have the owner and founder of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, Elin Warner, on right after our commercial break. And if you're new here, go over to the YouTube channel, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscription. Those subscriptions help us get more sponsors. And if you are somebody that would like to sponsor this show, holla at your boy. Okay? So let's do this. Let's get this thing going by kicking it off with a word from our sponsor.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
So now that you've already seen how to do this, like, there's no more excuses. This game's too good for you not to be a part of. And Elin, welcome to the show first off, and what a season it has been in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza land.
It's been a barn burner. It's the great thing about Bracket Bonanza is just when you think you have it figured out, it completely goes sideways on you. We've had first time winners. We've had upsets from guys that have been solid picks. It's been a lot of fun. We've had new winners. We actually added a winner from Delaware in after the Winter Nationals. So now I think we're up to 44 of the 50 states, and so it's growing, and we got more people playing. We're about to go into the Four-Wide Challenge, which is one of my favorite. 20 races is a lot. We do the countdown at the end of the season, 6 races for the championship belt. We do the majors. Katie Butera makes a really cool trophy for the people that get the most points from the Winter Nationals, Gator Nationals, U.S. Nationals. But the Four-Wide Cup is just these next 2 races. If you haven't played at all, sign up now at Drag Race Bracket Bonanza for free. You'll get the tip sheet on Friday before Vegas. If you kick butt in these 2 races, exactly, you can win. We've got 4 trophies. We do everything in 4s. So 4 cup trophies for the first 4 top finishers overall. Then the rest of the top 10 gets personalized certificates. And then we do certificates for 14th, 24th, 34th, and 44th place. So if you end in 4, we're going to hook you up. Plus, if you're one of the top 4 overall finishers, Summit's going to give you a $50 Summit gift certificate. So this is just like what we did for Winter Nationals. We had some extra hero cards from the Bernie's Fan Fest I did with Josh Hart, and I just grabbed them all up. So I've been putting signed hero cards in. So I've still got a few more Beckman hero cards. I think I'm out of Dave Richards, but I love seeing fans get excited about getting the prizes.
Yeah.
Free game.
That has been cool.
And, you get a cool plaque. My man, Bill Walters, used to be, I knew him from way back in the day, drag racing, was actually a double winner, which I think I heard earlier today's only happened 6 times.
That's crazy.
And I was really worried about that when we first started, because we do an overall winner, right, and then we do each class. And I was afraid that the guy that did really well in Top Fuel would just naturally maybe give them but we've had now almost 50 races, 45 races, and it's only happened a handful of times. So I think that's pretty good of just how drag racing is really hard to get a handle on.
It really is.
Over multiple classes. So I love the 4-wide. Basically, the big thing people need to remember is when you're filling out your brackets on Saturday night, you'll have your 4 choices. Mark all 4 of them. Pick your full finishing order, first, second, third, and fourth. The top 2 will naturally move to the next bracket, and then do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 finishing order, because you get points for being close, just like 2-wide racing, or just like 4-wide. You're going to get points, if you're the first or second place finisher. If you're perfect in your order, you get more points. But if you're just 1 spot off, we give you half a point. So let's say you thought Steve Torrance was going to finish in second place and he finished in third. We're going to give you half a point. So you got a little bit of wiggle room there. But yeah, I love the fact that more people are playing, more people are talking about it. Peak has come on board. We now have a Monday peak position recap email. We have leagues. I know, Dujan, you have a league. You play in a bunch of leagues. We now have the Road at Coffee Track Challenge. So you can play representing your track.
My closest track, I just picked my favorite track because I didn't have a close one.
Which is perfect.
I did, what is it? It's No Problem Raceway is what I did.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that, we want people to have an affinity to the tracks, national trails, doing a bunch of stuff. We just talked, Summit has been involved Summit's going to really start promoting their track program. So it's just another cool way to, if you're racing locally at your track, you can play for your track's Bracket Bonanza team. We send out some prizes. I think tracks are going to start doing some prizes, and it's a really cool kind of way to stay involved. So
it is. It really is. It has been phenomenal, to be honest with you. As you guys can see, I only have 1 plaque back there over my left. Probably you're right there. It's been tough. It's been frustrating at times. It is not easy here.
There's a lot of people that reach out to me regularly about how they want the plaque. And, it's wild to see the passion for it. I love that the drivers are into it. They put cool messages on the plaques. Like Greg, after the Arizona Nationals, wrote, Sean, what's up, man? They wrote, he wrote like my craziest win ever for that Arizona final round.
Yeah.
And like Paul Lee, wrote his first Nitro funny car win. Drivers have really kind of leaned into making it a really kind of cool personal item. So
that has been awesome to see.
So it's and I just try to tell everybody it's totally free. We encourage people sign up. You can sign up anytime. You can fill out your brackets, and you don't have to be present to win. We'll mail you your prize. And I try to honestly turn the prizes around. Like, we will send emails out on Monday morning telling people they won, asking for their address. And then I try to, once we get their addresses, if I get 2 or 3 of them on Monday, prizes go in the mail on Monday. Get the rest of them on Tuesday. I want the fans to have like that. Usually if it's usually about a week after the race. You win on Sunday, just like Grandpa Task used to say, win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yeah.
Really, to me, it's like win on Sunday, get your plaque by Saturday. It doesn't really roll off your tongue as well as Grandpa Task's deal.
Right.
But I want people to get the prizes, be able to brag. We throw some decals in there. But it's fun. I love the that just people are playing. It's just still honestly, dude, Janae, it blows my mind that it's growing. It's a thing. People talk to me about it at the track. It's dovetailed nicely into play NHRA.
It really has. Yeah. It really has. That's been a good pairing without, it wasn't any intention to do so, but it is a great pairing.
It was intentional on my part because I knew where I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be in that gambling space because I want everyone to be able to play. There's also the investment the NHRA has made in creating Play NHRA, and that opportunity for fans to have a chance to win money is massive.
Yeah.
Being legal in all the states and figuring all that. I mean, it's hard enough for me to keep Drag Race Bracket Bonanza straight.
Exactly.
But they have a great relationship because we put the odds on our Friday tip sheet now, just as another kind of metric for people to who should I pick for Bracket Bonanza or keep an eye on.
Right.
Honestly, shocker, I like to talk, so it's given me the opportunity to do a little stage show Sunday mornings with Hannah Rickards. Just kind of talking, explaining to people, hey, here's an opportunity. This is how it works. You can do it from your phone, and we're constantly trying to get more people to sign up to Bracket Bonanza. And as you know, we've tried everything, Duchesne. You've seen us at the races handing out QR codes and decals. And at the Gator Nationals, Abby, who works for us, probably came up with the best idea we've had in a while. We kind of try to catch people coming back from the track walk, just because.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I always wait until they're coming back because I'm terrified that I'm going to give somebody a decal or a QR code for Bracket Bonanza, and then they're going to drop it on the track during the track walk, and then I'm going to get in trouble by NHRA Safety Safari for putting garbage on the track. So I wait for them to come back. And I'm behind the water box. I don't even go across the water box. So if they drop it, it's not going to stick anywhere.
Right.
But Abby was like, you know what? I'm going to go up in the grandstands because people are just sitting in the grandstands for an hour or two before the race starts. And she did it, and we got good response at the Gators. I did it again in Arizona. I did it again in Pomona. And it worked great because you just go up. People are sitting there on their phones. They already have them out.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're waiting for the race to start, join Bracket Bonanza. And we probably pick up 50, 100 people on Sunday morning, which is the perfect time. And that's where I'm really trying to work with NHRA to get it a little bit more organized to where they're maybe making announcements Sunday morning, like, hey, if you're in the grandstands, fill out your brackets. You got some time. Maybe, get a QR code on the screen or something. But, it's going. The NHRA has been great to work with, and the Play NHRA is also really taken off. I mean, it's a cool way. If you're really, really good at Bracket Bonanza, and depending on where you live, you can have a chance to actually win real money,
right?
On racing, and they've got some cool things going on. So
it's Nitro Joe.
What up, Joe?
Yeah,
Joe helped us out. We got drivers because obviously March Madness just wrapped up, so we did a whole kind of going back to the pro superstar shootout. We did videos of drivers with basketball, kind of leaning into March Madness, and March is the time for brackets, and Joe participated in that. A lot of drivers did, and then we had them all sign the basketball. We used the same basketball for all, and then we sent it to I can't remember who won it, but we did a social media contest, like if you did a deal, and the guy was super pumped because it probably wound up, it had probably 20 or 30 driver autographs on it.
That's amazing.
So we're constantly just trying to give back to the fans and let them have a good time and connect them to the drivers and be, just do cool stuff.
Yeah. So. Looking at this drag racing season, and hold on. Before I get there,
yes,
I will get to your question, Blake, both of them, and we'll get that first one at the end of the segment of my picks. I will definitely do that. When you look at what this has done, I think it's kind of along the lines of fantasy football. People who don't necessarily have interest or had never had interest in drag racing before, NHRA drag racing before, now it gets them vested every week. We've had a few people from those who watch me because of the football stuff,
right,
join as well, and now they're interested. They're watching the Fox broadcast now.
Right.
This has been big in helping promote the sport just as much as creating fun.
Yeah, I think so. And that's ultimately my goal is to make it fun and user-friendly. So if you bump into, like this month, if you're filling out your bracket and you're watching your bracket and you're a drag racing fan, I would hope that you're telling all your bracket buddies, hey, by the way, I got another bracket opportunity for you. We can start, four-wide challenge, four-wide cup. We got, all these, here's a chance to keep the bracket streak alive. So it's been good. And, we've got some really cool bracket projects working for the off season already to just create some fun things for fans to do leading up to the 75th anniversary of the NHRA.
Yeah.
So it's going to be it's a cool deal. I mean, I want it to be a deal where you can introduce people to the sport, like you said. And that's why I love being a part of your show. I love that intro because it's just cool to see drag racing with NFL, with NBA, and have it be more part of a universal sports discussion than just you're over here, in the motorsports area.
Right.
Let's talk about, we got baseball players coming to the races. We got football players coming to the races. We got drivers that used to be football players or want to be football players or basketball. I was going through some Greg Anderson stats because he's on the cusp of winning 1,000 rounds of racing.
Yeah.
And he has defeated 2 NBA players pro stock racing. Tom Hammonds and Larry Nance.
That's the first one I was thinking about, Hammonds.
And I was just thinking about what a cool stat that is, that we've had football players come over here and try to drag race. Dan Pastorini back in the day.
Yeah.
Baseball players with Jack Clark. And then shockingly basketball players in pro stock. So
being as tall as they are.
we need to get some hockey players. We've had NASCAR guys come over. Kurt Busch has come over. So I think that's a cool thing about drag racing is in the back of everybody's mind, they want to give it a try.
Right. Yeah. And I tell you, those who this year have gone all in, like Chad Green, Paul Lee, who's gone all in, spent the money in getting a great brain trust, allowing that young man and Johnny Lindbergh to come up and be a crew chief. This is the type of start to a season that any sport wants. The NFL wants this. The NBA wants this. The MLB wants this. NHL wants this. There have been no top guys outside of Pro Stock. And we only had one race, so we'll just say Pro Stock Bike as well, that has had some newcomers, some what we call small teams, win races here. This is huge for the start of the season and really shakes things up, makes it really interesting because I think this kind of this thing we're seeing here is going to continue, especially in Top Fuel and Funny Car.
I agree. I think really Pomona was an eye-opener race when Proc and Caps both went out in the first round, and Tasca was out by the second round. Those are teams that people pegged for championship contenders. Now, Beckman went on to win the race, but he hadn't been doing that well for the first 2 races.
Right.
So I think you're looking at the dominant teams or the teams that people runaway champions are having to sort some things out. Teams like Chad Green, Dan Wilkerson, Paul Lee, Spencer Hyde, I think is going to get more comfortable in that funny car for Jim Head.
I agree.
And you're just going to see this level of parity in funny car. We're seeing it in Top Fuel. Clay Milliken's winning, Antron's winning. I mean, Antron's defending world champion, but the resurgence of Sean Langdon, Doug Coletta being awesome. I think, you haven't even gotten into Justin Ashley's stride yet. Josh Hart, speaking of guys that have made huge investments, he brings on Jake McCullough and Joe Barlam, and I think that's starting to pay dividends for him with Ron Douglas as his crew chief.
Indeed.
And then we're 6 drivers in, and we haven't mentioned Brittany Force or Tony Stewart.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I talked about it, earlier today. I talked about it, at Pomona when we were lamenting another short field in Top Fuel. And while that's painful, it's still 14 kick-ass Top Fuel dragsters.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 10 kick-ass dragsters and 6 leakers and have the first round take 2.5 hours, or
Right.
okay, we got to suffer through some buy runs.
Right. It's
Okay,
not that bad.
It's not that bad, but I'd like to get 16 quality dragsters, which we will. TJ Zizzo is going to be back out on tour. Tony Schumacher will get back on tour. We'll get to 16 dragsters, and then it'll be a knife fight in a phone booth, and people are going to be going, man, I wish there were only 14 dragsters here because my number one pick keeps getting blown out of Bracket Bonanza because you qualify number 2 and you get Tony Schumacher, or you get Antron, or you get Justin, or the fields are separated from you got 4 or 5 guys that might run a 360, and then you got 12 guys that run from 370 to 373.
Yeah.
That's where we were dangerously close to an all 3-second funny car field. That'll happen.
I know.
Before the end of this year.
It'll happen.
I remember when 3-second runs were so rare that I kept track of them. Like it was like a thing. I had an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And Lewis Bloom and I just kept track of 3-second runs when they happened. And we finally, when we got to 100 of them, when 100 3-second runs had happened, we finally were like, okay, they're normal now. And now 380s are normal. Like if you don't,
it's wild.
Like, so I think Top Fuel and Funny Car are going to be wildly exciting. I think Pro Stock, you could get a Kobe, Luka Doncic, Caitlin Clark type deal where Greg Anderson, you could be watching him right now and realize you're seeing greatness before you.
Yeah.
Sustained greatness. He's going to get 1,000 round wins this year. He's over 100 wins. He's the second most winningest driver ever, only behind Force. He'll join Force in the 1,000 round win club here probably in June or early July. You can't overstate the dominance of Greg Anderson and his importance to the sport and to sports in general, that he's still got that killer instinct. And now I think it's really, for a while he was going through the motions, but now I think he's having a lot of fun, and he's got this youth movement around him inside his own team.
Yeah.
And he's got probably one of the best race cars he's ever had, and he's driving it really well. And that's a very fun combination to watch.
It really is. It really is. I tell you, we still don't have Pro Stock Motorcycle until Charlotte.
Right.
But Blake, I'll give you my picks here. I'm going with Dallas Glenn. I think it's time now. He's getting a little irritated by being beat twice in the final. This is a race where you can kind of, you don't have to be first to the finish line for at least the first 2. So I think he gets in the final, gets the W. I'm going to go way out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that this is a Cruz or Alexis DeJoria type of race, but I'm going to go with Alexis DeJoria because the consistency is more there than with Cruz.
Yep.
This team this is the type of win that you can get. Like I say, you don't have to be first to the finish line, the first 2, and this 4-wide throws people off. We've got a couple people in here that haven't really done this on a regular basis as much as the others. There's always some wacky stuff that goes on the starting line. I think this is going to be Alexis DeJoria's race to steal and get a nice win for a team that's worked really hard to get started this season. And I'm going to take Josh Hart. Too often here, he probably should have gone way more rounds than he did in Pomona. That car is running quite well. They have found the level of the rinse and repeat deal, and in this type of format, it's fitting for a guy who may hang some people out to dry on the starting line.
Come on, dude, you're better than that.
It was sarcastic. This is the race that he can get it, and I think this will catapult them for the season.
Yeah, I really felt the way Josh ran in Pomona, and getting a first round matchup with Justin. I told Josh before the race in his pits, we were talking, and I said, man, I got a really good feeling about you in this first round, and I feel like whoever wins the Josh Justin first round matchup at the Winter Nationals was going to win the race.
Yeah,
that's just one of those deals where you get that mojo going and you beat a quality car in the first round, and then you just kind of go on about it. But again, that speaks to the level of competitiveness of that class. If there's no layups.
Yeah, no layups at all. None. Look, before we let you get out of here,
Yes.
a big deal here.
Yes.
My guy, my buddy, Buddy Hull is going to be a nominee
Yes.
for the Telly Awards for talking funny cars with Buddy Hull. This is huge.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Huge.
This is really cool. Buddy put a lot of work into the show. I helped him with it. We submitted a couple shows for consideration, and one of them was for the People's Telly Award, and judges reviewed the show and then selected it to go into the People's Telly Award category. So you can go, there's a variety of websites where it's on our social media. There's an NHRA.com story today about it. Drag Illustrated did something. Competition Plus did something. It's on all our social media.
Yeah.
But you basically just click and rank them. Like 5 stars is the best. We'd like you to get 5 stars. And it's interesting. The way they have it listed says Buddy Hull, J.R. Todd episode, but that's really, it's for the whole series. I'm not sure why and they're showing a clip of the J.R. Todd show and the Paul Lee show.
Okay.
Which were 2 of my favorite shows.
Those were 2
because of storytelling. But it is really cool to be selected to the short list, but you can vote one time from now until April 18th, and we'd love to have a good showing and see what we can do. So definitely go on there and vote, and then tell other people to vote. So it's kind of a cool deal. And I agree with Memphis Lonnie. I know I'm jumping around here, but Corey Reed is, and I think it would be great if he went full Don Garlits. When he won, he shaved the beard, because it'll grow back like in no time, but just go full machete, just right on the starting line.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Telly Award is a really cool thing. Appreciate, and we're, a lot of the drivers are going to support it, but anyone can go and vote. And just check out the show. You can see all the shows on YouTube, and we are going to do another season starting. We're going to start filming again in Sonoma. So there'll be 8 or 10 more episodes later this year. And Buddy and I are working on another show called The World Wants to Know. That's more NHRA personality driven. Buddy on a golf cart driving around with We just did one with Justin Ashley and John Capps. Just basically, there's no other way to put it. Just shooting the shit, DJ. That's the only way. Just driving around talking about going to sporting events, going to concerts, their favorite things to wear. There's a little bit, but they're just on a golf cart, just driving around for like 30 minutes.
I like it.
And
that's really good.
Good Buddy is a big personality. He loves to talk to people, and he's just really, really good at it. So I think it's a great opportunity for that. So keep an eye out for news about that. But I appreciate you having me on, Dujane, and thanks for tying us into all the stuff you tie us into. And we'll be good. So takeaways: sign up for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, try to win this 4-wide cup, and then play all season.
Yeah, let's do it. And we appreciate you here.
Oh, real quick, can I show you something I got in the mail today, Dujane?
Yeah.
I'm a huge Ron Capps fan.
Right.
So this is Capps's roof hatch that he blew off at the Gator Nationals.
Oh, man.
See, it's actually in 2 pieces. It got
That's awesome. I'm waiting on a roof hatch.
So now I have 2, because I've got this one, and then I've got the one back here that's Robert Heights from St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I'm now officially a roof hatch collector.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my first one as well.
Yeah, so I waited a polite amount of time to ask Guido for it after he blew it off the car.
Yeah, that was good.
Those guys are pretty good. So, all right, man. Hey, I appreciate it, Dujane. Thanks for everything.
No problem. Thank you for everything. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Perfecto. Thanks, man.
Yes, indeed. Ethan Warner. and you guys didn't think that you were going to get out of here and we weren't going to talk about Shadyside Dragway, did you? You didn't think we were going to just talk NHRA and not mention Nah, we're going to be talking about that here. It was a great weekend at Shadyside Dragway. And, man, we're going to talk all about it after the break.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
So this racetrack is very, very, it has a personality. It is a small field on the track, but it is a pretty big piece of property, but very interesting. It's like kind of like down in the valley of where, you know, the parking and everything. You have to actually walk down this big hill to get there. Very cool stuff that happened. No, I didn't. Maybe one day I will get to do that. Or maybe I'll build a gasser myself. You know, I'm a bug guy. So that the Beelzebug is one of my favorites just because I'm a Volkswagen guy. But, man, great action. Had some really hard-fought wins here. We look at Chase Howard here. He got the win, and I wish I had to put that down. I'll tell you when I find it what gas he was in. But this guy fought hard all day. You know, had a decent qualifying session. Didn't necessarily have the best test and tune night, and a lot of people didn't. But gritted it out, man. Really gritted it out throughout the race day there. And let's see. See all this. Let's keep going. I'm thinking this is. I think it's A-gas. I really think it's A-gas. Where are we at? Yep, that's B-gas. That's A-gas. In A-gas. And that was a fun class. I think if you follow us on Facebook, you saw the video that I did with the Joker. They come in, left at 10 o'clock the night before. He shows up. Thank you. That's the chick magnet, Leslie Horn. And we're going to talk about this because, first of all, it's class. The fact that he lent the motor that was his. You know, where do they do that at, right? And so the Joker, Greg Stills, comes from Wisconsin, left 10 o'clock the night before, gets there about 3, I guess, that day, and they go to fire the car for test and tune. Probably was just going to do one shakedown run, and that was going to be it. They were trying to get some sleep, and sleep was not it. Started it up, thought it was a lifter, and they had a trash motor. Leslie Horn, driver of the Chick Magnet, gives up one of his motors, one of his bullets. Well, guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Just take a wild guess. So not only does the Joker qualify 5th and made a good pass in Q2, I am not releasing numbers. Don't know if I can release numbers, so I'm not going to tell you numbers because they don't really give out numbers that much. I'm a numbers guy, though. So he runs a very good time, comes in to elimination day, and lo and behold, in the second round, who does he get a chance to go up with? Yep, it's that man, the Chick Magnet, Leslie Horn, who won the first race of the season, and he uses Leslie's bullet in his gun and shoots him down. Beat him with his own bullet. What I would say is it would have been nice to see him go all the way, but Chase Howard had other plans. Beats the Joker, who is the driver of the USA 1, and goes on to face Barry Lynn with that little red wagon. And it's not a little red wagon, ladies and gentlemen. I think you saw a picture of it before. And proceeds to get the win. And you know, what's so awesome about this is that the start of the day for this guy started out excellent. They were very consistent all day long. And he didn't have a great qualifying session. That's the whole thing. Worked hard to get this car consistent, and a lot of guys did. A lot of guys and girls did. Worked hard to get that deal going. And boom, he gets the W. First win of the season here. And you said why they don't do numbers there. Well, it's kind of one of these things where with this particular class, they don't put numbers up. They did put numbers up in the final, but they don't put numbers up during qualifying or during racing it. It's just more of who turned on the win light. Now, obviously, they do keep track of ETs, but it's not really built on that. It's just about winning rounds. So to answer your question, Dave, I have spoke of numbers on Sega Live. I'll probably only keep it there. And Leslie hasn't chastised me yet, so it might be okay. It might be okay. But I love numbers because it tells a tale of how they were just able to, especially for Chase, started out with his numbers there, and it just went down each increment, each round. He was able to lower it a little bit, and for a track that was very greasy and it was hot, very hot there in Shelby, North Carolina for the Shelby Nationals. So, super, super fun. So I was glad for Chase, and we're going to have him on the show if you guys want to watch us over there. Me, myself, and the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft, who leads us, and the announcer, Dave Lancaster. We all are on. We'll be on Sega Live. We'll have Chase Howard on, as well as some other guests. Here's the Joker working on that engine that night. As, like I said, Leslie was so kind to lend his bullet to the Joker. And they were able to do some great things during that time. Your winner here, Robert Frazier and H-Gas. Great day for them. And as you see there against the Beelzebub, once again, the Beelzebub has been to 2 final rounds and have runner-up. At SGMP, he showed up Saturday, did not do any shakedown runs on Friday, qualified, went all the way to the final. Thought he should have won there. With Robert Frazier, though, this thing here was he was fighting an uphill battle. That car had just been consistent all day long. He was doing a great job of driving the thing, but it was just beautiful to watch that car work all day long. And the driver did his job as well. So happy for Robert Frazier in H-Gas. Super cool stuff, man. We had Alan Platt and the AFX. The AFX, they run on methanol. It's like it's a time period where those were like funny cars for a short period of time. And they're really cool to watch. Tom, it was my pleasure, and love working with you guys and being a part of this thing. I'm learning a lot, and it's just a good vibe. It's a good vibe, and I love the racing. The cars are just another thing that you look at as a fan and see. All these different body styles. There's little things on these cars, like my man Briley Stott paints his car candy apple red, and on the back of it, it says student driver. Classic. He's 17, by the way, and he won at SGMP. Jerry Dean and Super Stock got the win, had a great day. Another gauntlet to run through. We didn't have as many AFX cars, but still love to watch them run there. We had 6 H-gas cars show up, but they all are tough. Had Tim Hall and C-Gas get the W, and Ken Rainwater get the win. They are another team that worked extremely hard, and really, you could say all of them did. Maybe had a little struggles early, had some struggles in the first race of the season, able to rebound here. That car was running quite well all day. He'll say that they struggled all weekend, but I think the hard work that they put in says otherwise. Great stuff from everyone who got the win at the Shelby Nationals. It was great to watch. And the crowd was awesome that came out. Didn't have a big crowd on Friday. Saturday was a whole different story. Just people are lined up down the fence. They've got tents out, sitting under their tents. They've got food. They're sitting on golf carts along the hill. They're up on the hill. It's just one heck of a sight. And I encourage you to go over to the Southeast Gases Association YouTube page after this show. And the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft, we're able to take the work that we did and give you guys a look at the finals, which was well put together by Lee. And good stuff, and you'll love it. The action was great. Cars wheels standing and doing crazy things. You see them squirrely coming out of the gates, and they're staying in it, legging it in. And by the way, Mr. Alan Platt did a little shimmy shake. The tail wanted to wag, and he tapped the wall on the back side of the car, fixed it, got it back out there. He did a good job of not completely pancaking against that wall. To drive that thing the way he did was fantastic. It was great action by all, and would love to be at Woodstock. I will have family in town. Although if the itinerary changes, I will make Woodstock at Holiday Drag Strip. So if it changes, I'll be there. Great time. I love working with the team that I'm able to work with to provide the coverage for Sega. And man, it really is. It's a blast. It's, I don't know, so rewarding to do that and be able to be a part of, Sega. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the part of the show where I'm doing a little something different today, and we're going to do the
What do we want to talk about?
What do we want to talk about? So it's on you. What do we want to talk about? A lot of good stuff coming up this weekend with the Four-Wide Nationals. By the way, while we're waiting for you to throw some questions in there, some thoughts, some statements. If you want to go, you have plenty of time to get your priorities in order, and you make the Bama Brawl at Holiday Raceway at Woodstock, Alabama, May 2nd and 3rd. I think we'll see another increase in car counts as some, trying to navigate what we have going on and being able to travel. Some are still putting together cars, trying to get things together and ready to bring out and be competitive. So sure, we will have more cars, but you got plenty of time to get your priorities in order and make this Bama Brawl. You will not be disappointed with the action that goes on at a Southeast Gases Association race. See what we got. So, yeah. Memphis Lonnie says, I bet the AFX cars are neat to watch. Yes, they are. They usually are leaving a line with the wheels up. And, I love the smell of methanol and nitro, any type of race gas, but the smell of methanol is nice too. It is very fun to watch. The cars are really awesome to see. And I think they're going to have more AFX cars in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. My man, the Nitro Performance guy, he says the parody and funny cars crazy. I love what we are seeing. And I agree. Who would ever thought we would have been here in the sense that we see a lot of individuals who don't have the big teams and the money that some have, but we see them running well. It says a lot about where we are in the sport with crews, with young talent that will be eventually crew chiefs. These assistant crew chiefs that we have out here, you see the youth starting to roll up as you kind of see in the NFL and somewhat in the NBA as far as coaches go. And this is huge for the sport, and we're seeing that in real time by guys like Chad Green. You see Blake Alexander struggling a little bit. They'll get there. You see young talent and Bobby Bodie racing. It's cool. It's cool to see. And like I said, it makes for great watches for casual fans and for, hardcore fans. Seeing some new blood win, the unpredictability. This here, we're in a really good age of time when it comes down to the quality of cars that are out there on the racetrack. Yeah, just about 30 minutes. Not bad at all. It's worth the drive. It really is. Monday Morning Racer says, what have you learned from Sega that you'd apply to modern day drag racing at the NHRA Mission Foods level? What I've learned from Sega drag racing, first off, there's the backup girls are show women. They'll have a special new outfit. All of them have a new 60s look come Woodstock. It was totally new for Shadyside. The showwomanship of the backup girls, guys, is pretty cool. I also will talk about the fact that they adhere to a schedule and are very timely. Things happen. There's parts that get let go on the racetrack. There's people that break, but for the most part, they're pretty much able to stay on schedule. And I think that's something that fans enjoy as well. the track is hardly ever not hot. And of course, with the amount of classes that we have there, you know, it's hard to not have a hot track in the NHRA. Third is not saying that drivers are not personable, but those drivers are personable and have personality, and they show their personality. There's some things that I think they can play into a little bit more, and we'll talk about that on Sega Live. But I love the personality. I love the fact that they have their merch, and it's very personable merch, and they're very easy and willing to let little kids sit in the car, you know, take pictures. They are very open about explaining the history of their cars. That's something that brings you back to old school drag racing. But those are two things that I think that could apply to Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. And I understand all the ins and outs, but we make changes on everything else. It's not hard to make changes to fit that there. Drag Race Mayhem says the mud flap wars are going to be interesting to watch. Given the altitude at Vegas, I'd be shocked if many go without them. You know, that is an interesting deal with I'm going to call them the canards. It is an interesting deal. I do think, as Joe stated on his show earlier today, which I recommend, because he's talking to Goodyear in the first part of the show about the tire. And although there's certain things that they mentioned I knew about, but there are some things that were very interesting to hear them talk about in relation to the tire, in relation to the mud flap, wind deflector, canard having on or off. So go check that out. And thanks for the love, Joe. I appreciate it. And we'll be talking soon. But yes, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's a tuning tool, I believe, another instrument in the workings of a crew chief's mind to tune for. I think listening to that conversation, there's ways to avoid some of the things, because it's really all about downforce. The reason why these tires are doing what they're doing, and you notice that most of them are dragsters because they have that big wing. They're able to adjust that to create more downforce on the rear end, and more pressure, speed, tire growth, and you have some things that happen. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see who comes out and uses it and who doesn't. Scott says Dujanay Lee have done a great job presenting Sega. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm new at the whole camera thing, so I appreciate Lee trusting me and willing to train me in that area. But man, it is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's hard work, but it's a lot of fun, and we hope to be able to bring more live coverage from Sega events. JW says winners and losers of Four-Wide season will be. I said it earlier. I think Alexis DeJoria has the ability to win. I think she does. I think you're not going to see top individuals win here at this race. I'll start Top Fuel first, but I don't think you see a Sean Langdon or a Doug or an Antron win. You might see an outlier, which is a Brittany Force, who has been throwing some haymakers. Her and David Grubnick have been throwing haymakers, putting up numbers here. It just hasn't correlated and translated on race day. I think she can be an outlier. This could be a race for Tony Stewart, maybe even a Jasmine Selena. She's had some, I won't call them lucky rounds. I'll just say that they performed quite well, and she's performed well in those moments. They could sneak past a few, and you only need 3. So that is a possibility. I got Josh Hart in this one. I think they're due. Saw them at the Pro Superstar Shootout. They had the rinse and repeat going quite well. We saw Gainesville was an outlier, and we saw in Pomona they were able to reach the 60s. I think they're due a win. So that's my pick. But I think your top individuals, Dave, are going to lose in Top Fuel, and I'll say in Funny Car as well. I don't see Austin. I don't see a Jack Beckman. The outlier for me is Bob Tasca. He's had a rough start to the season, and the D&Q ain't gonna sit well in his craw. So I think he's the outlier, but I think this is Alexis DeJoria, Cruz Pedregon. I hate throwing J.R. Todd in this, but J.R. Todd and the crew chief and all that, they've got a whole new setup. He's got a whole new playbook, and they're trying to, work the bugs out and get things, going consistently there with his playbook and how he likes to run things. This could easily be a Blake Alexander deal where they find their legs and become more consistent. And you could see a Spencer Hyde get a win in a situation like this. You only need 3, and you don't have to finish number 1 in 2 of those rounds. So it will be a fun thing to watch. Only thing I don't see is there will be no outliers. There will be no upsets of big time teams when you're looking at KB in this one. I think you see Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn in there. I'm going to go with what Memphis Lonnie said, and Corey Reed's going to be a part of that final. And I think there's a possibility you could see an individual like a Matt Latino, a Kenny Delco if he shows up, which I think it's a possibility, or you can see Matt Hartford there in that as that 4th car. I picked Dallas Glenn, but Memphis Lonnie thinks it's Corey Reed, and I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. All of those cars are running quite well. Corey has been driving the wheels off the thing, and is really a force to be reckoned with on the starting line. So when you look at all those things, this is a race. You need to go 3 rounds. Like I said, don't have to be number 1 in 2 of those. He has a good opportunity to win. Now, all of this being said is they don't end up on the same side of the ladder. And all 4 of those end up in a quad. So there's going to be some qualifying things that have to work out to keep those guys, in off the same side of the ladder and being able to, or the quad, and being able to meet there in the final. Memphis Line says, okay, DJ, I know we're only a few races into 2025, but who do you feel needs to step up, or is it just too early to ask such a question? No, it's not too early. We're almost to the end of the first quarter of the regular season. We are in the last race, the first quarter of the regular season. And I think you can go ahead and talk about that now. This 4-wide thing is kind of an off thing. It's hard to really count in the whole spectrum because it's so different. But if we're going to start, I'm going to say the whole entire KB, the whole entire elite need to step up outside of the quadras when they show up. I don't know what they're dealing with. It is obviously they're dealing with something and trying to work out something. And I said it in a show before. I think this is the thing where they are trying to make adjustments and do something different to gain performance in the long run. Kind of like what we saw from Brittany Force. Didn't work out for them. They kind of got lost and went down a rabbit hole and got lost. We'll see if they go down a rabbit hole and get lost. But I think they're trying to do some things to advance. Because you know the old saying, if you're standing still and you're resting on what you did yesterday, you will get past today. That's just all it is to it. We've seen it from several championships who rested on what they did previously, and it sent them up out of here. So they need to step up. Funny car, I'm going to go with Cruise. There's been a lot of changes with that team, and they're good changes, but it's the little things that they have to clean up. And it's the little things that are killing them, because they can run in qualifying, so it doesn't seem to translate on race day. It gets out to 60 foot, 330 feet, and don't know why. But they need to step it up. Bob Tasker needs to step it up. Where is Bob Tasker the last year? Sleeping? Because it appears to be sleeping when you D and Q. It's proven when you get behind in qualifying, no matter whether you got 3 sessions or 4, if you get behind the 8 ball and you end up in a situation that they had with all those cars running in 3s in that format, that last qualifying session usually don't go so well when you're not in, and you got to run a decent number. The old sphincter gets a little tight, and usually when that sphincter is tight, mistakes happen, and that's what we saw. Mistakes. Let's see where we at here. Blake. Oh, I meant to tell you that. Everything Nitro. I'm gonna leave it at that. Everything Nitro. You can check him. You can check out his page too. He's got some cool stuff there. Hey, he's trying to get him to come back. But Everything Nitro. I know you didn't ask me, but Justin Ashley specifically, Mike Green. No, I didn't ask you, but I appreciate it. And I want you to comment like that. Awesome. And I agree. That's another one that needs to step it up. They have really not been themselves at all. Like, somebody need to go check their pulse. Yeah. Somebody needs to check the pulse. It's not good. Scott says, Sega is less technical to me, makes it more appealing. Believe it or not, man, it looks less technical, but their rules packages are strict. Very. And because of the packages of what they run, and you can't go out, for instance, the Heartbreaker Taylor, who has a Barracuda, they can only get blocks. You can't run a modern block in that. It has to be from that era, and it's very hard to find Plymouth blocks. Unfortunately, she's going to move on to something else, and she won't be running in Sega. Doesn't mean she won't be driving something every now and then, but it's hard. It is not. It looks less technical, but they have to stay within that era. Not a lot of modern technology with, you ain't doing all that crazy stuff that we do in the modern day. You have to stick to that time period. It's very good though, how they have it. And I think it's the reason why the racing is tight. And, some that show up may feel like they're not as competitive as the Joker or Leslie Horn or a Ben Christopher, or, name them. But it's anybody's race. And it's so tight that guys are red lighting a lot because they know they got to get it off the starting line. And sometimes you got a lot of power, and sometimes that car doesn't hook initially. You get a little tire spin and you end up taking a loss, and you may have had the best car all day. So there's a lot that goes into it, Scott. But it does look less technical, but when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it really is. Monday Morning Racer says, should media on live streams present a professional drag racing series referred to and mention actions outside of what they are presenting, such as the race? Why not? I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm understanding what you're saying. Present a professional drag racing series, refer to and mention actions outside of what they are presenting, such as the race. I don't think you shouldn't be veering off into no man's land. Oh, now I get what you're saying. No. This isn't the happy hour. This isn't Comedy Central. It's racing. And, two guys in their booth yucking it up sometimes is cool, but like we don't need to go too far off in the left field, if you know what I mean. Like, stay on task. Drag Race Man says, what's that referring to? Oh, you know what it's referring to. You know what it's referring to. Blake says, what advice would you give someone like me that want to become a media person for NHRA? This is easy. You got to have passion for what you're doing. Knowledge is very important. But it's not too important that people won't watch you. And some people know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to put nobody out like that, but some people know what I'm talking about who are watching this. But most importantly, be willing to put in the work even when no one's watching. Because a lot of people get frustrated because they're not getting the views. They're not getting the looks. They're not getting the live watches. It will come. You keep putting out the product. It will come. Too many times people worry about that too much. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be consistent, knowledgeable, and have fun. That's the last thing. It sounds so cliche, but it's that simple. It really is. To get noticed, quality tweeting about the NHRA is good. And, like I said, I had a PR person reach out to me. I was just tweeting about drag racing because I love it. And I was just covering NFL and NBA stuff then. I still do, but that was all I was doing. I didn't even really think I talked about it, but I didn't never think I'd be this involved as I am now. So yeah, just keep working, man. Nitro Performance guy says 4-wides are good for long shot winners. You can be second all day, just have to win the final round. Exactly. That's what makes it so fun. Memphis Lonnie says, does the first 3-second field occur in Vegas, or do we wait until Charlotte for that honor? It's a good question, but you know what my frustration is, Lonnie, is that it's like what we said when, conditions are great. We're going to be perfect. We're going to see big numbers. And crew chiefs poop their pants. And we get a smoke fest. We get a shake fest. We get a twerk fest. It's possible, yes. Because Vegas is a very good track. It's possible. Very possible. Dave W. says, 4-wides are good for long shot finalists, but guys like Mike McIntyre, Mason McGahey, Christian Quadra, etc., never really closed the deal. You're right. Women lie, men lie. Numbers don't. Dan Wilkerson and Jasmine get it done this weekend. 2 first-time winners. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. To back that up with stats, Jasmine statistically has the best average ET and top fuel so far. Pretty cool. Can you confirm, Dave W? Well, yeah. Well, you can't really not factor in 4-wides anymore. Now it's in the countdown. It's more important to factor in who runs good in this format. Absolutely. And I'm not addressing the negative stuff with the four-wide. I don't even want to hear it anymore. You got to do it. So it is what it is. Suck it up and do it. It's that simple. Monday Morning Racing says Tasker needs to get Brooks out of the fab shop and back in front of the data sheet. Exactly. Because it's a problem. And it's not going to correct itself until he does. Yeah, we want him to come back. He's enjoying time being a dad and doing a great job. Drag Race Man says, I'm not too worried about the task of DNQ. Meaningless race, would rather it happen here than the countdown just have to grow from it, which they will. That's a good point. It is early in the season. Let's see, please read my comment question about, gotcha. Yep, that's exactly what we do. Mute. People don't watch me, so I feel that. Yes, they do. Don't lie. So everything NHRA does is great, and there's the greatest series ever. You'll have a job for life. Yeah, nah, man. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you know that ain't me, and I'm not gonna tell anybody to do that. Yeah, don't take that advice, Blake. It's not good. I know, right? He always did great stuff. I love his the way he put things together. His interviews were great, and I've been trying to encourage him to come back, but he's enjoying time being a dad. Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have run over, and that's okay. We had great conversation here. Like I said before, if you're new here, go over to the Not Bland Show YouTube page and subscribe and like, share. Really appreciate all of you guys who are in here, all 41 who are watching. Thank you. Without you guys, this stuff is not possible. And man, it's going to be another great show on Wednesday. I know Dave asked me last Tuesday how I have a voice at the end of all of this. Sometimes I wonder too. I drink one too. I guess that helps a little bit. Let's see. Lonnie says it's too real to be a yes man. Yeah, that won't happen, bro. That ain't. I will praise you when you do well. When you don't do well. Gonna have a conversation about not pronouncing those ETs right if we don't get them ETs pronounced right here at Vegas. It's 4 races in. That's your buddy. Help him out, man. Come on, bruh. We know this guy's knowledgeable. Just pronounce the ETs right. You got this weekend. If it ain't this weekend, y'all know it's going to be a topic of discussion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. If you're not signed up, please go do that. Sports Journey. Man, it's a lot of cool things happening here. Sports Journey. Man, a lot of cool stuff that's coming up. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that. And I'll be making some announcements soon if something comes through where we can get this show on a radio station. So I'll let you guys know how this works out. And we're going to be the only NHRA show on that thing. So I'm excited if this is possible to do. Well, for Everything Nitro, for Sports Journey, for Drag Race Reference, I'm Dujane Bland. This has been the Not Bland Show. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you guys later on the Power Hour as we have Chase Howard and Ethan Warner. Again, we're going to talk about some great stuff too. So check me out over there. And before we get out of here, make sure you go over, subscribe to the Southeast Gas Association, tune in to Sega Live. It will be at 5:30 on Wednesday. It's going to be a great conversation talking about a great event at the Shelby Nationals at the Shadyside Dragway. All right, everybody. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Good night.